Hi, my name is Emily Curtis, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the famous Game of Life, and specifically, how it is a well-fit representation of life throughout the ages. Let's begin with some background information. The Game of Life was reinvented by Ruben Klaymer, who was a toy and game designer in the year 1960. Its original form was called Checkered Game of Life and was created 100 years before in 1860. Milton Bradley was the one with the bright idea and is often credited with launching the game industry in North America. The game was designed pre-Civil War, while the country was divided between the Confederate States of the South and the Union States of the North. In my opinion, Bradley created the checkered game of life to give people the option of having the ideal life even if it was just a game. There have been 5 versions of the game, and each model was made so that the game components accurately represent the current era of time. To illustrate this, the original game's last phase was to reach a happy old age. In the newest version, a happy old age is guaranteed, and your last decision is made on a retirement home. The reason for this is because in 1860, when the original version was made, life expectancy at birth was determined to be less than 44 years. As another example, your game life in the latest version fast forwards to start you right out of high school, making your first decision whether to go to college or to start your career off with a job. The original, designed by Bradley, starts as an infant and progresses thereafter. It's safe to say that in this day and age, most people go through school and advance at just about the same pace, usually ending in a high school diploma, making college the first big decision in our lives, because in 1860 the story was very different. This game could quite possibly change again someday, altered to fit the average life of any person at any given time. You see, that aspect alone makes this a good game. Think about checkers as a counter-argument. Sure, you can change the rules of checkers, the look of the board, the colors, or the box it comes in, but generally speaking, no one has. Why is this? Because there's no need to. The game makes sense whether we're living in the 18th century, the 19th century, or the 21st century, but this is not true for the game of life. This game provides players with insight on life decisions, whether players have already made those decisions or they have yet to come, ultimately allowing some to make different decisions they've made in the past or to test out ones to come in the future. Now, don't get the idea in your head that the game of life portrays the perfect life, only handing players positive and happy decisions. The different pathways the game has to offer do include bumps in the road. Among these including a damaged house, a broken bone, bankruptcy, the ability to be sued, all things that happen to people in everyday life. The game of life does not alter reality like most board games do, but yet it represents it. Every well-made game has pushbacks because without them, we would not find a thrill in playing. For those of you who haven't played the Game of Life, I'll give you a brief overview about the most modern model on what the game consists of and how it progresses. There is a piece placed in the center of the board that is a wheel. Players travel along the pathways by spinning the wheel that is numbered 1 through 10. The three-dimensional aspect of the board is most represented by the small mountains, buildings, and occasional pathway piece. The pawns, or playing pieces if you will, are small plastic cards that come in the colors red, white, blue, orange, yellow, and green. Each car has 6 indentions, or holes, on the roof where the pegs representing people sit. Throughout the game, players get married, have kids, adopt, etc. Like I said earlier, you start off either going to college or starting your career. After some turns have gone by and you've rolled the wheel, you get married and then you start your life. Directly representing life itself, the game has multiple pathways making players choose which ones to take and which ones to leave behind. Along with the bank and the fake cash, there are life tile cards, salary cards, career cards, stock cards, and house deeds. Each category providing your game life with the details it needs. For the sake of the game, everything is based off of money. Even though some might argue real life is the same way, I tend to disagree. The life tile cards are rewarded when your pawn lands on a space that represents something positive in life. Perhaps something people feel they should do and or accomplish before they die. To better understand this, some examples include playing a family game, learning CPR, having a baby, helping the homeless, and even volunteering at a charity sports event. The tiles each have a money value on the back, but look at it as more of a reward for doing something good in your life or the community. The main goal of the game is to have the most assets when it's finished. These assets coming from the money earned by working and the money received through the life tile cards. Most of the choices that are made in the game are insurance and investment related. This is simply for the sake of the game. While the placement of pawn and the random choosing of cards is purely based on luck, the decisions made while playing adds personal touch and perhaps creates a player attachment to the game life. Life itself is one of the most confusing, complicated, and contemplated things of all time. And while the meaning of life cannot be defined, the game of life does a fantastic job of representing it. Board games represent way more than the average person would expect. Each and every game can be analyzed and broken down in such a way that writers break apart poems or novels, or how movie reviewers pick apart the plot and meaning behind it. Games are a form of primary text, just like books, and people often take this for granted. Game designers put in the same amount of work as writers do, and people play this primary text without even understanding its full potential. So, to end things, I challenge you to learn about, analyze, and become interested in a whole new way of looking at something that has just provided you fun game nights. I promise that throughout this process you will find yourself becoming more and more interested in the topic, always wanting to find out more. I know I have. Thank you.